Hello and welcome to 30 Scum Podcast. My name's Nathan and I'm joined today by not one, but two co-hosts. I have got Mr. Paul Cropper. Hello. And Mr. Ahmad Doher. How are you, mate? He's back.
I'm good. Yeah, finally, yeah. How are you guys?
Finally.
Three wheels.
Well, I was going to say it's the first triple threat attack that we've had. So is it Rooney, Ronaldo and Tevez, or is it Højlund, Garnacho and Anthony?
We'll find out in about 45 minutes.
Exactly. I'm sure the listeners will decide that. But you guys both good? Ahmad, we haven't seen you or heard from you in a long time. All good?
Yeah, all good. Just, I don't think there was much going on in regards to United for the past few weeks. So I don't think we missed out on much.
I thought, well, I don't know. There's a few things. Otherwise, this podcast is just going to be empty. It's just going to be us catching up, mate. But Paul, how are you, mate? This is your second consecutive week. You've had 2 run-outs.
I'm in. We're warmed up now. We're warmed up. The grind's okay. We're going. Frustrating this week, though. Very frustrating with the news and everything. We'll get into it.
With the news. We will get into it. So the best place for us to start is with the... We talk a lot about transfers in, but I think it's best to talk about transfers out this week because I feel like until the Mbeumo deal is done, and what that's going to get over the line, I'm not doubting that now. I think that's going to be done for 60 to 70 million, whatever it is. Once that's over the line, I think anything else that happens at Manchester United is going to be right down to who we can sell and when we can sell them. Now, the frustrating thing for me is I'm looking at the likes of Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho, maybe even Casemiro, Malacia, all of these players that are, they're on the fringes of the team. They're not good enough. And your mate Davo, Ahmad. And if we don't shift any of those players, I think it's been said as well. I don't think we're going to bring any more in. So that for me is a bit of a worry. How are you feeling about that, Ahmad?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're starting to get left behind a little bit because everyone thought like by now, okay, we would have at least sold 2 or 3 players and we would have gotten at least 2 or 3 players in before we start preseason. Because as we know, I think it's vital for Ruben Amorim, especially with the new system, with the new players. We always seem to make the same mistake. We leave deals late on and then we suffer, players take time to integrate. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's been so tough to move on the players, but I get it as well because I always say we're paying for the mistakes we've been making for the past few years. It's all coming down to this. We've been setting ourselves up for this mess, and we're seeing it now. It's tough. It's tough.
And I think that's probably it there. What Ahmad was saying, Paul, in that we've got these players on massive contracts, and just the other day it was rumoured that Sancho was apparently asking Man United to pay whatever shortfall he has to take in his salary wherever he goes, if it's on a loan, if it's on a full-term deal, a full-time permanent deal. He was asking the club to make up the shortfall. When you've got players reportedly rumoured to be doing stuff like that, you can see we're in a really tough situation here, right?
It's a tough situation, but is Sancho at fault for that? Is that on the club? He's got a contract. That's his contract. Why should he have to forfeit any? If he's not good enough, he needs to be moved on. Unfortunately, there's nobody in Europe that's going to pay him that money. There's not. I mean, he was looking at Galatasaray, I think, or Fenerbahce, they were offering him money, but it's nowhere near to what he's on at United. So that's, once again, comes back down to how the club has been run and the money that we've been giving these players. So you can't really point at the player and say, no, you've got to forfeit your money. It's a contract at the end of the day. We've offered him, he signed it. It's an issue about moving him on now, and we will have to pay 40, 50% because nobody will give him that money.
Exactly, and we're only talking about the purely financial side of things here. I think it's Fenerbahce said that they may match it. They've got this weird system in the Turkish league where they can pay big bucks, and I think that's how they managed to get Leroy Sané over there.
Is it a tax thing? Can do it. Is that what it is? A tax thing similar with Italy? I think Italy have a tax break, don't they, on certain amounts? It must be something similar to that.
I'm not familiar with how it works, but I always know that they get decent amounts of cash out there, which is why they always get these stars every now and again. But the Sancho thing, like as I said, we're talking about monetary things here, like about the wage packet and things like that. There's a World Cup coming up. Surely, like this kid should have ambition to actually want to play at the top of his game in a team, trying his hardest, regardless of how much he's being paid, to make it to the World Cup. Surely that's an ambition for all young footballers, isn't it?
Honestly, like I think Anthony's the only one who actually cares about his career. He's the only one who's willing to take a pay cut to move to a club to play permanently and like on a consistent basis because there's a World Cup coming, and he knows he has a chance. Like I think he believes in himself. To be honest, like personally, I don't think, for example, Jadon Sancho, he believes in himself. He doesn't think he has a chance of going to the World Cup. So I think I sent Nathan yesterday, like I told you, like it's a waste of a career for Sancho going to Turkey at such a young age after so much potential. And he's the one, like his mentality is what brought him there. And it's just, honestly, like it's just sad because I think not just me, but a lot of people had high hopes for him.
Do you think it's the people that they've got around them? Like you look at Garnacho's stupid post wearing an Aston Villa shirt with Rashford on the back, and then Rashford going, "My brother," like on social media, basically trolling Manchester United fans and their employers. Let's not forget that. But do you think it's the people that they've got around them? Because you can't imagine Fergie letting something like that go. You know, back in the day, even Jurgen Klopp, even Guardiola. You know, like. You just couldn't imagine it. But these guys seem to think that they've got the rule of Old Trafford and they can do whatever they want. Is it the people around them giving them that kind of inflated ego?
It's more to do as it being a discipline issue, I think. No comeuppance can get away with what you want for the past how many years. Main character syndrome from a generation that think it's all about them. I'm not... there's a few of them though, and it's not just one. So has it spread? Is it just the same people that are going on all the time? The toxicness of the club, does that spread onto the players? Or do they just think, I can do what I want, I'll get away with it? Or, in Garnacho's case, it seems like he's provoking a club because he doesn't want to play for us anymore. Okay, fine. Don't let the door in the backside on the way out. We all know what it is. It was a provocation, can't say it. That's what it was. He knew what he was doing. Rashford knows exactly what he was doing as well. You've got to go. But I think Amorim's already told him, hasn't he? He's already told him. It's not the first thing with Garnacho. It will never be the last. And mark my words, wherever he goes, same with Sancho, same with Rashford, issues will crop up again. No matter where they go in the world and play football, it's going to be constant issues. They're always never going to be happy. It's always going to be about them, a selfishness of a generation. The question I've got for the pair of you is, why do we keep signing these players? Why are we not signing characters anymore? Why are we not signing men? Why are we signing petulant children and they're always coming to United? Or when we sign them, do they turn into this?
Well, I think that's fair to ask that question because there's a toxic culture there. That's obvious. It's been clear for the longest time that something isn't right. I think Amorim's come in and I think he's been given the blank canvas to just go, right, paint what you want out of this squad. Show us what you think are the problems, and we'll completely back you. Which is what they have to do this summer. Obviously, they have to back him in the transfer market. But I think to your point there, I think there's a sea change, of these players that we're talking about. It's clear the ones that they want out, and it's clear the reasons why they want them out because they keep doing dumb stuff like this. I mean, me and Ahmad was talking the other day on WhatsApp. That interview that Rashford made with, I don't even know what the outlet was. Was it just a YouTuber?
Spanish kids, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And they're just YouTubers, right? Like Angry Ginger and stuff like that. Right, okay.
Yes, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So he did that interview, and I'm thinking about it. How old's Rashford now? Is he 27? 28?
He must be.
Whatever he is, he's grown up at Manchester United. He's not a kid anymore. And there was just something when Ahmad sent me the screenshot of the clips, I was like, nah, that's BS. It can't be true that. because the reason why it was like shaking his ass for Lamine Yamal, like a kid, like a teenager, and like Barcelona. Oh, everyone would love to play with Lamine Yamal. Like, I get the sentiment, but you're a grown ass man who's played in the Premier League. You've played at World Cups. Like, you should not be bowing and licking the boots of like Barcelona just so you can get your move. And for me, it turned my stomach. I don't know how you felt about it, Ahmad. I'm sure he was like,
Uh,
does he not believe this?
yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, there's a video, there's proof. But honestly, like I'm sick of everything that has to do with that. Like he always comes out with an interview that seems to like just boil your blood every single time, and like it's useless. Like what are you trying to achieve? Like no one at the club wants you anymore. It's so obvious. There's no way back for you at the club, from top to
I think
bottom. No chance. Not even back for preseason. Nothing. Because of how you act. So it's obvious you're gonna leave. So why do you have to go out of your way? And even like the interview, it wasn't even with like a respected journalist. It was with, like you said, like
Yeah.
some kids. And you I don't know, what is it called? Like you make less of yourself. What is it? Like
yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah,
demean yourself. Yeah,
exactly. That's the word.
yeah,
Yeah, you demean yourself doing that. Like people are gonna look at you like, for example, what you were saying now, Nathan. Like it does make you think less of them. So I just don't know. Like I just can't wait to get rid of all of those players. That mentality, like Paul was saying, like who's at fault there? It's the club. The club is
Yeah.
rotten from top to bottom. From the
Yeah.
owners, like from the past 10, 15 years that we've been through. It was
You,
always going to come down to this. It was always going to come down to this.
I
you
don't know if you
mentioned then,
guys.
Nathan, about them. Sorry, about them being grown men. I'm not.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not. That they are. When you watch them, they are literally like children. They're like the apprentice at work that comes in and he's brand new. They've not lived life. They don't know how to react to it. They've been looked after since they were 8, 9, 10-year-old in academies, and they don't know how to be it, how to be around other people, and what real life is all like. Everyone goes through problems. I'm sure Rashford's got issues off the pitch. I'm sure Garnacho's got issues off the pitch, but you paid a massive amount of money to play football, and if one thing doesn't go your way, you can't just spit your dummy out and throw your toys out the pram. And like he did in the cup final, he should have started. We all probably agree he should have started. That's not the way to react. What I've put in my notes here is, it's a shame that it's come to the end with the pair of them. I'm not putting Sancho on the same. That's a different issue. But how would you say now Garnacho leaves? Where would you put him? You're not putting him alongside an Antonio Valencia. You're putting him now alongside an Angel Di Maria. That's the stain that he's now with that post. That's the stain that he's put on his United career. How long's he been there now? Must be 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to leave, if you're not getting the time that you want on the pitch, you go about it a different way. But he's forcing the way out, and now it's just a big stain on his United career. We're not going to look at him fondly and think, oh, we missed out on one there. Once he's gone, we're all going to be like, thank God that's over. No matter if he goes on and like McTominay does well, we don't care. Mason Greenwood's gone on; he'll do well. We don't care. Get out of the club, because we need a fresh start, and we don't want people like you hanging around. Don't need it.
How do you feel about the report that United are holding out for 70 million for him?
I'll let you go with that, Ahmad.
I think it's ridiculous, honestly. I mean, like we ruined the chances of us getting a good price because of how like Ruben Amorim, how he came out. Like he didn't come out like publicly, but like the rumors coming out, like he just told him blatantly that you're never gonna play for us again. So, and with the things Garnacho is posting, it's obvious like he's gonna leave, and no club is gonna when they come onto the negotiation table, we're gonna have the lower hand. So I think we would do well to get like 50. I think that would be a very, very good deal, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
I think we're in a bit of a catch-22 situation here, where if they do hold out for the 70 million, it shows that they're strong negotiators again. Whereas I think the United tax is a real thing, that's been happening up and down the league for as long as you can remember. Like, just take the Ed Woodward ringing up Leicester City. How much is Harry Maguire? Is this much? Right, okay, we're not paying that much. Ringing him at the end of the transfer window. How much is Harry Maguire? Oh, he's slightly more now, but because we know that you need him, and then having to pay it, paying over the odds for it. If you hold out for 70 million, I can understand why they're doing it. I'm not saying it's a great strategy, but if you're holding out for 70 million and that's what you stick to, you're less likely to get your pants pulled down in the future. And what's Garnacho going to do? He's going to sit. We can take up his salary. I know it's not a great thing to do, but we can take up his salary. He's not on an enormous amount, and we'll let him rot. It's stupid. I get it, but I can see the theory or the reason why they would try and hold out for 70 million, whether it is good or not. I think you're probably going to get closer, 45, 50, and he'll go somewhere. He'll have a decent-ish career, but he'll be downhill from Manchester United because who has made a... When they've been forced out, apart from McTominay and Greenwood, as you mentioned before, who's gone on to do greater things? Marshall, AEK Athens.
Right. Who's going to be in the market to spend 45 million on a Garnacho, though? You're looking at limited teams that can afford that. La Liga teams can't afford that. Serie A teams can't afford that.
Chelsea want to swap him for Christopher and
car park. They'll swap him for a car park then. Yeah, I think his options are limited. I think he probably knows that himself. Where do Atletico Madrid? That's an interesting number. 70 million euros they're hanging out for?
Pounds.
Maybe they're comparing about
pounds.
Is it pounds? Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe they're looking at the lad that went from City to Atletico Madrid and hoping that kind of bid comes in. I don't.
But you look at the way that Liverpool have sold Jarrell Kwanzaa for 40 million. 40 million pounds.
Yes.
For that player, right? United officials will be looking at it, and there has to be a turning point, right? And again, I need to summarize this. I don't think it's a great idea to hold out for 70 million because you're unlikely to get it. However, I think they have to do something to stop it seeming like we will sell players for however much you can give us in a fire sale, and when it comes to negotiations, we'll give you over the odds of what that player is worth. So it has to start somewhere. I don't want to keep going on about Garnacho because he does my head in. Just seeing him on social media is doing my head in at the moment. So he's making me angry. The other one I was going to ask you both about in terms of a fee, Sancho, the Fenerbahce one, because it seems to be gathering pace. That actually, I know you were saying that it's unlikely that it'll go there, but it seems to be gathering pace for Sancho. But the money that's being offered for him, well, I mean, you've probably both seen it, but how much would you take for Sancho right now, Ahmad?
Honestly, I would let him go on a free. I don't care. Just just get him out of the club. It feels like he's been lingering around the club for so long and he hasn't been playing. He's just picking up his wages and doing these silly things. I'm not gonna go back to Garnacho, but in terms of sales and Sancho, Garnacho, Rashford, if you want to talk about why we would take less for Garnacho now is because you started the podcast, we said we have to sell to be able to buy, and we can't wait and keep on negotiating until the end of the window because I don't think we have any players to sell that are going to generate money except for Garnacho. Even Rashford is rumored that he's going to go out on loan. Sancho, we're not going to get a good fee for him. And there's no one else. So if you get whatever it is for Garnacho, you sell him. And then you move on. And this is not the summer for us to try and show clubs that, okay, we're not going to get their pants pulled down and okay, we're strong at negotiate. I don't think this is the time for it. Now specifically, we just have to clear out, get the players in, and just start fresh and go into next season. So if Sancho, if they want to take him on a free, just take him on a free. Whatever we can get for him, just take it.
Take a bag of bibs and some cones.
Yeah, anything, honestly.
But we're talking about those three there. We're talking about we keep talking about the same 3, 4 if you throw Anthony in there. The issue is when you look at, there's another 8 that need to leave behind them. So these are the main 4 we keep talking about. They're probably, okay, we can get money for Anthony. The Garnacho one, it goes on the the expenses, doesn't it? So that goes towards.
So you can spread the costs. You can spread the costs of a 50 million because it's a homegrown player. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that those two would look like the ones. Rashford and Sancho, just leave, just go. But the other 8 that we're going to probably discuss in a bit, they're probably more important to leave because they're the ones that we're going to be replacing with other players. So it's the deadwood that's been there for 10 years that needs to be moving on as well. And the frustrating thing when you asked me before how I am, I've said frustrated, is there's no movement. We seem to be concentrating on just Sancho. Rashford and Garnacho posting on Instagram. Leave them to the side. Get rid of the other ones as well. Because there's no talk of Onana going. There's no talk, I think Dallow's probably going to upstay. There's no talk of Luke Shaw going, which frustrates me even more because they're going to survive another season. No, that's not good. You need to be ruthless. In this, like you said, Ahmad, there, this is a big summer of outs because if we can't get anyone out, we can't get anyone else in. And Mbeumo and Cunha will not be enough. They will just not be enough.
We'll talk about how the next season will shape up when we go on to the next section, or the one near the end. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think Mbeumo and Cunha change anything. Before we do move on to the other players, just going back to the 4 misfits that we keep talking about. Out of all of them, Antony seems to be the only one that I'd probably keep right now, and that's simply because he's kept his head down and just tried to play his football, whereas the other ones just keep moaning at every opportunity. So Sancho, as I was going to say before, Fenerbahce are talking about 15 million, around 15 million for him. So you put in the 5 million that Chelsea paid us to send him back, which again, as a professional footballer or a person in general, if someone's paying that much money to get rid of you, like maybe look inwardly about how things are going, lad. And then Anthony, Betis have just sold, Johnny Cardo sold to Atletico Madrid for 25 mil. Now, 25 mil for Anthony, are you taking that?
No.
No?
No, I want close
to
to
much, 40. Too little?
Too little.
Too little. So what do we too little? Yeah, we need to recuperate some more money. And he has shown promise. He's shown what he could do in that league. I think they will probably offer us that, won't they?
Yeah.
No, I think we can get more, in my opinion.
Okay. So then we move on. I'll touch on these other ones as well because I was trying to look at like pure profit players as well earlier. Dan Gore has been linked to like a move away because he's not getting any first team football and he's probably reaching that period of his career now where he needs to go. Tyler Fredrickson was another one that was named that possibly might have to leave as well. Ethan Wheatley, there was talk of him potentially going on the US tour to see where he's at if we don't actually sign anyone. So, to just see where he is and where he could fit in with the team. But there's 3 players there that, I mean, you're probably going to get the best of like 3, 4, 5 million a piece at best for those players, which is pure profit. But beyond that then, Paul, I'll go to you as well with this. Beyond that, who do you see, aside from those players that we just mentioned, and Malacia, obviously, like who's in that first team that should be going next? Who should be on the chopping block?
When you asked me the question, I was thinking how to structure what I was trying to get, and I did it in tiers. I did it in tier 1, need to go, Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho. I did it tier 2, which was, I don't think it's the fact that I just think they're not good enough. That's my opinion. They're not good enough. So tier 2 would be move them on because either the club is too big for them and they can't perform the way they should be, i.e. Anthony. And they can move on and they can go and have good careers. But at Old Trafford, it's just not good enough. So I've got Onana, Shaw, Dalot, Malacia, Casemiro, Harsh but Maguire, Mount, Anthony in there, and I put Højlund in there as well. I think, but you're talking, it's a massive chunk of your squad. It's not going to happen. So maybe 2, 3 of them could go. Still don't see that, Ahmed. And that's down to the owners. And if you have players like that hanging around and you're building your squad with them in it as well, it doesn't look good for next season, does it? If you don't move them players on.
What do you think, Ahmad? Are there other players that you would add to that list? He's already mentioned Dalot, so that, I mean, we don't have to don't have to talk about him again.
Honestly,
but
yeah, I know. Like I'm always against Aloe, but I think he would be a good squad player, like we always mentioned. But he can't
Yeah.
start. He can't start week in, week out. Like it's not gonna happen. But the two actually that really need to move on are Hoyland and Onana. Honestly, both of them, they're not good enough at all. Because like I believe like in a football team that actually wants to win, the two non-negotiables are the striker and the goalkeeper. Like if either of them are not on top of their game, you have zero chance. Because even if the other 9 players are playing well, you have zero chance of going on a consistent run of wins at least. And the goalkeeper, like Onana, we saw like how many points he can cost us, even if we're playing well. And then this lack of confidence that trickles into the defense, the midfield. So like he has to go. Hoyland has to go 100%. And I think we will move them on, but I think they're not the priority right now to move on. But yeah, Hoyland, Onana, the rest of them like Luke Shaw, Casemiro, I don't think anyone's gonna buy them. No one's gonna pay their wages again. Same issue. So I don't know. Like this summer is tough. It's tough.
On that point there, Ahmad,
that's the main issue there. I think that's the main issue there. I think it's a case of there's two things at play. Manchester United hierarchy and Ruben Amorim know who they want to get rid of. That's fine. There's a list probably bigger than yours there, Paul, sat on Amorim's table.
Yeah.
Maybe a dartboard with their faces on it, But and then on the other side, what you've got is their salaries and who's going to pick up their salaries and who's going to like take a wage cut to leave. I said this before in the newsletter about that Jordan Henderson. Do you remember that in Sunderland Till I Die? In that one of the episodes where they were like, you'd save the club like a load of money so that we can spend in January and we'd be able to climb the table and stuff. And you're not playing. Like you've said that you don't want to play anymore. We need you to leave. And not Jordan Henderson. Who was it? Jack Rodwell.
Yeah.
Jack Rodwell. Yeah. And then Jack Rodwell, and then he just fades to black with Rodwell walking out. And then you see the chairman just slamming his door and shouting down the phone. And then the caption comes up, Jack Rodwell has decided not to leave the club. And that's the thing. You got 15 players that are getting paid a king's ransom. And they don't want to move on. So it's going to be difficult. But let's leave that bit there. I'm sure we'll talk about it more as this pre-season kicks on. And then we'll come back to it later. But right now, we have got Cropper's Transfer Corner after this break. Mate, I promised you a little jingle for this Cropper's Transfer Corner, but I didn't have time to do it. So we're just going to have to go roll with it. So
Cropper's Transfer Corner.
There we go. You can just do it every time. Mate.
I've been working on it.
It's good. I noticed there was a nice lilt at the end. It was decent. Okay then. So what have we got? We talked about transfers going out. So what have we got about coming in then? What's the latest?
And Mbeumo's the latest. New bid gone in. It looks like you said before, looks like that's the main priority now. Is it 60 plus another 5 added on? They want easier add-ons. I think what that shows there is that he's obviously given United priority as well. I think a few people on Steam, etc., have come out and said that he's happy to go to United, which is a relief after Tottenham showing a bit more interest when he went there as the manager. So yeah, I think that's the relief. That's the main target. Happy when that gets over the line. Don't know why we have to work on one transfer at a time, in or out. Why we have to do that? Why we can't work on different ones? Frustrates the life out of me because it feels like there's been no movement in 2-3 weeks on that. Yeah. What if they reject the bid? Okay, right, no problem. We either move on to different targets or come back 48 hours later with another bid. It must be a money game. They must be doing something. But I'll be happy once that one gets over the line. And I think a matter of a week or so. Hopefully he's there having his medical. Hopefully
I think it was the rumor was that he was going to be there for pre-season training, which is closing in on us in 3 weeks. So with getting Mbeumo in, as we talked about before in the last section, that's 2 players. That's Matthias Cunha and Brian Mbeumo. We've lost Eriksson, Lindelof, and Johnny Evans, and there was someone else that's left as well. I can't remember who it was. But, we've replaced... we haven't replaced them, but we're bringing in 2 players. 3 have gone out. I still think we need more going out, but let's talk about the ones coming in. Continue to talk about it. Are you happy with that, Ahmad? Are you happy with Mbeumo and Cunha? I know you're a big fan of Cunha.
Yeah. Honestly, I think we're gonna notice how. I know it's not enough, like 2 players, but I think they're gonna have a huge impact on the team, and I think we're gonna see it straight start of the season. I still think we need more, like you said, but it's a good start, honestly. Like, I wouldn't have expected us to go for Cunha and Mbeumo. Like, I always thought it would be one or the other. But again, like, Premier League experience, Cunha had like 15 goals, and Mbeumo had 20 goals last season. So that's perfect for me. Like, it's a good start. We need more, but it's good.
We do need more, Paul. So who else is coming in? Who's been knocking on the door?
I've got on my list here a swap deal involving Sancho with Juve and Vlahovic popped up on the feed. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Well, there's still looking at strikers because I've got another 2 names there. He was linked with Arsenal 4 years ago, 60-odd million. When he went from Fiorentina to Juve, didn't he? He was highly sought after around Europe, scored goals, and then seems to have gone to Juve and took a massive dip. I'm not ruling this one out. I'm kind of intrigued about it. He would obviously, I mean, what is he, 27, 28 now? Be a different option up front to Ireland. Fresh start for him, point to prove. Swap deal, Sancho goes the other way as well, which we're obviously happy with. I'm not dismissing that one. I know a lot of other people don't see him. Maybe he's a few years too late and we've missed out there, but I wouldn't be ruling that out if you've got Sancho going the other way.
Do you know, that's an interesting point that you made there? Like, using Sancho as bait or a make weight might be the best use of getting rid of him. Like, rather than asking for a straight fee, like, go and knock on the door at Napoli and just say, here we go. One barely used Jadon Sancho. We'll pay you an extra 30 million. Can we take that guy over there, Victor Osimhen? Can we have him? That might be the best use of Sancho, right? But I mean, these clubs aren't stupid. Everyone can see social media. Everyone knows what's going on in the media in general. So, it'd be hard to do that. The other thing I wanted to add in terms of while we're talking about transfers, well, just having a quick break in here, but you look at Chelsea strengthening, you look at Liverpool strengthening, you look at Man City strengthening, like with Delap and Wirtz and Cherky. It's making me sick. They've gone out and they've done their business. They know who they need, and they've gone out and done it. And I was on the radio the other night. We was chatting about transfers just in general. And I was saying, like, they've got 12 months from when that summer window shuts, and then they can see their body of work across all of those months with the players that they've bought and who they brought in, players coming through the youth academy, players that have been in the reserves and now making it to the first team or potentially not making it to the first team. And then they still leave it until that last week of the transfer window being open. I don't understand it. Do you have an explanation for it, Ahmad? Are you on the inside with this? Do you know what's going on?
No. Well, you were talking about clubs that are in Champions League. That's the difference. Like, all of them have Europe.
True.
Yeah. So that's the big difference. Like, we can't compare ourselves to these teams. As sad as it is, like, we're not there. If we want to target players like how Brighton do it, they target players from, I don't know, the Belgian league or the Dutch league or something, then we could have done deals faster. We could have had 5-6 players into the door. But because we're targeting players that, like Mbeumo, like Konya, like Gyökeres, like these players, we need to be moving on. Like, it's just a big mess. So we need to move on the players before we can actually do those deals. It feels like we're trying to accelerate, like, for a team to go from 15th, like we are, to top 4, it would take like 3-4 years to get there. It seems like we're trying to just cut that short into 1 year. That's why we're going for those players. And we're fortunate enough that players want to come to United because of the prestige and the history. But Yeah, like we don't have the money for it, I think.
Yeah, very true. So we've had Vlahovic and we've had who was the other one?
With that. Ollie Watkins as well. There's
Oh, Ollie
word,
Watkins.
Ollie Watkins is one. 60 million is the price tag I've just been reading. Obviously linked with Arsenal in January. I think Villa were trying to push him out the door, to be honest with you, which was another. They wanted the money for him, didn't they, because they were struggling.
Yeah.
Proven goal scorer. Will score your goals. Will press. Will do what the manager wants. 60 million, obviously, it's probably the goal. They're probably the right price for him, to be honest with you. Whether we look that direction, I don't know. But we are looking at strikers. It's obvious we are looking at strikers. He would probably be in the top 2 or 3 you'd be looking at from the Premier League and would score you 20, 25 goals a season.
I would say the issue with him is like his injury record would probably be the reason why they don't want to pay that amount of money for him. I think he's definitely a great option. I would also say he's probably got better options than Manchester United right now. So it just depends whether or not he wanted to stay in the Premier League or if he fancied his chances going abroad. Because he'd do bits like in Serie A. You know, he'd do good stuff in Spain as well. So, I'd love Ollie Watkins at Man United. I just don't see it. I don't see United paying that money for him. I think Ruben Amorim
29-year-old as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think Ruben Amorim would prefer to spend that money outside of the club, and I think just looking at, I mean, Ollie Watkins, I get it. Vlahovic, I get it, but because we're looking for experience in the striking position. But I think United and Ineos's philosophy moving forward is to keep the any players that come in, we need to have a resale value somewhere down the line, because I think we've been buying players like Casemiro closer to the retirement age. Do you agree with that, Ahmad, or
No, I was thinking like if you had the option to pay 60 million pounds for Ollie Watkins or 60 million pounds for Hugo Ekitike, for example, who would you go for?
Me personally,
Yeah,
without any injuries, Ollie Watkins all day.
exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Paul, what about you?
Yeah. Watkins, yes. Guarantees.
Yeah.
We need guarantees. We can't be taking risks on, and he is.
Exactly.
Just be looking at how many games he played 30 odd games for Villa last season. So you mentioned his injuries. They can't obviously be that bad. 20, 29. It's a guarantee. Like you say, that's what we need, and that's the.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a front three of them three? That's scoring goals. That's danger.
Do you know
excites
one of the other things, it excites me as well. But one of the other things as well is that I think Mbeumo and Cunha coming in kind of takes the pressure off finding a striker now. So if they get Mbeumo over the line, it's like, okay, we've got 3 world-class number 10s that can, like, if you count Bruno as well, that can slot in just behind the main striker. And I again, this was from the newsletter, and you should sign up for that, everyone, by the way. Fergie's Gum on Substack. In the newsletter, I mentioned about Højlund potentially having a second chance within this setup, because how can you not score when you've got those 2 creating for you? Like, if you can't score with those 2 creating for you, Garnacho was bobbins last season. He's serving up nothing, you know. Ahmad will definitely do a job for you, but I'm just playing devil's advocate with this as well. If the pressure's off and if striker isn't the main priority because you've got 2 brilliant number 10s, then Højlund, Chido Obi and Xerxes will have to fill that slot next season. I don't hate it. No. I don't think they're good enough. Yeah. I don't hate it. I think if you've got 60 million and you need to spend it elsewhere, goalkeeper for a start, and a right wing back.
One thing we're not mentioned there with the Ollie Watkins transfer, whether there is actual interest there, is Rashford being another mate weight in that possible transfer. That's something that we've mentioned before, using him as a mate weight.
But he did say that he only wants to play with someone that's got Champions League football, and as you know, we dashed their hopes for that on the final day of the season.
He also said he wanted to play at Barcelona in January, didn't he? Look where he ended up. So
He'll play
There you go.
wherever he's told to. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So he'll play wherever he's told. Right, okay, go on then. Reel off the last ones that you've got there, mate.
The
Let's have them.
last one I've got is the swap deal with Chelsea involving Garnacho and Nkunku. That's the last one on my list.
No, stinks. That stinks.
Yeah,
Stinks.
I know. You
No,
said
thanks.
you weren't happy with that. Nkunku, he come from Leipzig, is it? He come from Germany, didn't he? Big reputation, big money. At the time, he got a very bad injury, didn't he? At Chelsea in a pre-season. I'm not dismissing that. If you get rid of Garnacho and you bring in what was 18 months, 2 seasons ago, a highly rated European player, will play in the number 10 as well, probably suits the system a lot more than Garnacho. I wouldn't be dismissing that as easy as you are. Possibly on more money, but yeah.
I would say that deal suits Chelsea more than it suits Manchester United, because if you can get cash, actual money for Garnacho, and you can spread it across years and years of buying other players to bulk out that squad, I think a swap deal is absolute madness for Man United to even consider. Putting Nkunku in there, regardless of how good he is or how good he was, and just kissing goodbye to Garnacho and any money that you would get for him, I think that'd be madness. What about you, Ahmad?
Yeah, I think the only way it would make sense if they're offering like 50 million and Nkunku because they want to get rid of him. Otherwise, then it doesn't make sense. But yeah, if he comes in a swap deal, regardless of how much they're paying, then I think he might have a job to do in the team. But otherwise, no, like straight swaps, no chance.
Interesting.
So the other ones, I know you said that you've not got any more on your list there, but the one that keeps popping up as well is Emi Martinez, which seems to be gathering steam, but seems to be, I know you don't fancy him. You want Mark ter Stegen, who you didn't even know about last week, Paul.
Know.
So
well,
you didn't even know about him, but now you want him.
You dangled that German carrot there in front of me, and now I want it.
And so Martinez is the one that seems to be closely linked. Apparently, United have been talking to his representative since January, so it's not just a recent thing. It's something that they've been doing for a while. He would rather stay in Europe and or preferably at Manchester United rather than go to Saudi. It all depends on what they can do with Onana. There was all this talk of Ruben Amorim says that he loves Onana and has a great working relationship with him, and then it was Onana and Mbeumo have been sharing messages saying that they can't wait to play again because they play for Cameroon together. Can't wait to play together in the Premier League together. And it's like, I don't know where we are with that. I know that we need a new goalkeeper. I don't know if Emi Martinez is the right person for it, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he can't do much worse than what Onana's done. So I don't mind that one. The other one that I saw, two actually, is it Richard Rios or is it Ricardo Rios?
Yes.
From,
South America.
Yeah. Is it Palmeiras?
Yeah.
I was guessing it.
Yeah.
I love it when I guess because I had it in my notes, but they've disappeared. But he looks
energetic midfielder, apparently, from what.
That's the one. Look at his YouTube highlights reel, mate. That's what I did. And I was sold immediately. I think he's like 26, 27. So he's,
is he really? I thought he was a lot younger.
Is he?
Okay.
Okay.
25,
so 25. Okay. So he's nearly 26, is what you're saying. So yeah, he looks decent. I still think we need legs next to Bruno in central midfield if that's where we're going to play him. And then the other player that was leaked as well, and I'm going to absolutely butcher this name, but his first name did make me laugh a little bit because it was, let me just double check, a Belgian lad.
Joshua or something like that.
Yes. Ardon, his first name. Joshua, which made me smile because I'm a stupid little kid, really. Ardon Joshua, linked with AC Milan, 35 games last season, 3 goals, 4 assists. He looks decent, and apparently Dortmund are after him as well. But again, it's hard to know what you're getting with these players because how often do you watch the Belgian league? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're
you're right.
constantly watching this,
exactly.
and
Swiss
I can go all the way
international.
back. Yeah, I can
Yep.
go all the way back to signing Anderson, who was a great player for us, by the way. But signing Anderson, seeing his YouTube highlight reel back in the day when highlight reels were barely a thing, and thinking we were getting the next Ronaldinho, and we
Yeah, but
absolutely did not.
Yeah.
Anderson was he was honestly like one of the best talents out there, and
Oh
he could have easily been like one of the best players in the world if it weren't for the injuries that he was getting, and like his like habits of eating and like
That's until he discovered KFC in the Arndale.
yeah,
Wasn't it?
exactly.
That's what it was. Yeah.
No, but I love Anderson. Anderson's great, but I'm using it as a cautionary tale of trusting anything that you see on YouTube in terms of being able to judge these players. But it looks like
Two centre midfielders, though, Nathan. Two centre midfielders we're actually looking at. The names are cropping up, which is a good thing to get the legs in there, which we desperately need as well. So that's what we're the positives looking at that. Maybe not them names, but at least we're looking at a goalkeeper and a centre midfielder and a forward. If we get them three in, we're on our way, aren't we? Which is good.
Well, let's talk briefly about how we are going to be on our way when we talk about Amorim's next 6 months in the next section. Right then, so we talked about transfers out, transfers in, but now it's time to talk about the gaffer, Ruben Amorim. We've talked about him on every podcast that we've had. I think, rightly or wrongly, we've kind of like loved him, loathed him, maybe at times been frustrated by him, but he's going to be in charge next season, and I think it's worth just having a little look at what we're predicting, a little look into the crystal ball to see where he's going to be next season, or what we're predicting what's going to happen over these next 6 months. I know a lot of it depends on outside factors, but I'll come to you first, Ahmad. What do you see the future? How does that lie for you with Amorim?
Honestly, the thing is, like you said, it depends on a lot of things, and some things are not in his hands, but ultimately, it's going to come down to especially now the fixtures have come out, the first 10 games. If he goes on a run and he does not win, like he doesn't go, I don't know, get at least 6 wins out of the first 10, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And the games are not easy, I know. But yeah, like no, he needs, because the way we ended last season, we all said that the way we ended it is going to extend into the beginning of next season, and if he does not prove that he's actually going to do well, then it's going to get messy, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's one way of describing it. Paul, we talked about this on the last episode. We mentioned about how long is Amorim going to get at the helm at Manchester United. So bear in mind all of the things that we just talked about. Ineos needing to clear players out, Ineos needing to bring players in. Like, if you're starting with this squad and you've only added Mbeumo and Cunha, and like Ahmad's just said, you haven't won a majority of those first 10 games. What happens? Is he on him? Can we still stick by what we said about you're gone by October, November?
Some of it has to be on him because we've not really seen much improvement since he's been there. If you could see something, we said this last week as well, if you could see something, then you get more time, obviously. It's funny you said, the last word you said there, Ahmad, was messy. And when Nathan asked me to predict Amorim's next 6 months, the first word I put down was messy. That's literally what I've got in my phone. Just because...
As in signing the Argentinian?
Well, I don't know about that.
Things up.
Just because of the way the club is, what we've seen in the past 2-3 weeks, it could be messy. Transfer-wise, squad-wise, football-wise, pre-season's going to be big for him. What I would put to you both is, what is success for Amorim? What direction should we be looking at? What will he be looking at? And as United fans, are we getting more and more delusional, thinking that we are a European side? Are we expecting too much from this team? Our expectations, should they be lower than that? Should we be aiming for, is 8 and a cup run? Is that what we are now? 8 and a cup run? Or should we be aiming higher than that? Where would you say, what does success look like for Amorim come the end of the season? What's his targets?
Ahmad's face looked like how I felt, so I'm gonna go to him first. So I'll let him answer this one.
No, honestly, like when Paul said like eight and the cup run would be considered a success, it just felt like we're talking about, I don't know, like Newcastle or something.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
disrespect, but like it's sad. But like you're saying exactly. Like, are we as United fans, are we like disillusioned now because of our history? We think we have this God-given right that we have to succeed, that we have to get in the top four. But like when you look at the facts and how it actually is, it's not that simple. Like it's gonna take a while. So you can't just go and just sack every manager that does not live up to that standard, because like you're never gonna go anywhere. Like you're gonna keep on doing the same mistake. So like even if he doesn't do well the first 10 games, I don't know if I would. I listened to the podcast that you were saying like, yeah, you'd give him until October or until Christmas. Honestly, I would give him the full season no matter what. I don't care like what happens.
Okay.
It's not gonna get any worse than what happened last season, I hope. But
hopefully he is on the back foot though, isn't he? He is starting this season under pressure straight away, and because of the size of United, because of the way the press perceive us and the hits that they get whenever they use Manchester United, it's big news. And if the manager is not seen to be performing at 100%, they'll be all over him. And that's my worry, is that them fixtures, like you said there, Ahmad, are not favourable at all to Ruben Amorim. But he could shock us. Let's fingers crossed. If he goes in there and gets 2 or 3 big wins with the new 2 signings, gets a striker, gets a new goalkeeper, all of a sudden we're all going, oh, hang on, we're Champions League places, and we're there again, aren't we? But we're looking at it and we get excited. But it's the biggest 6 weeks. Again, the pre-season is so big. It can't be overestimated how big this pre-season is for it.
Honestly, I'm so deluded. I need to say that I'm so deluded that I think if we start, like if we beat Arsenal and then we get like a couple of good results with us having 1 game a season, I think we can challenge for the title, honestly.
Yeah, I'd love to be on board with that. I'm going to put out there. I'm going to do like 2 realistic scenarios that could potentially shape or will shape Amorim's future. Right. The first scenario is A. A is we bring in Mbeumo, we bring in Cunha, and we get rid of the problem people. However, we can't bring in the players that we need. So he's starting with essentially 80% of last season's squad. And that's how we're going to go from then until January. So there's 6 months there, right? So that's scenario A. Scenario B is we get rid of all of the players that we need to get rid of, your Rashfords, your Sanchos, your Garnachos, your Antonys. It is put back into the club into exactly the same play, into the exact profile of player that Amorim wants to sign, that the club wants to sign. So athletic, fits the system or fits multiple systems. Basically taking the game to the opposition rather than sitting back and being passive about it. So that's scenario B, right? He's got all of his players or he hasn't got all of his players. For scenario B, what's the best league position and outcome he can expect through the next 12 months? Ahmad.
I guess we have to be at least, like, I think the best scenario, like you said, is us. If he got to the players he wants and he got rid of the players that he does not want, I think he can go. We can easily get top 6. That's what I think. Like if
that's scenario B, yeah. So scenario B, you're saying top 6 for that. Top scenario 6. A, where he doesn't get his boys, and we're starting with 80-90% of this team.
Yeah, he's gonna get the sack, 100%. Like in my opinion, he's gonna get the sack.
Yeah, he will lose his job he will lose his job if he sticks with those players. Not just because of the goalkeeper, but mostly because of the goalkeeper. Yeah, I agree. I think if you get all the players, if the owners back you, if Ineos do everything, the outs, the ins, shaking it all about, you have to produce European football 1 game a week. I think that would be the target of the owners. That would be the target of the manager. and that should be the target of the players. If they don't, like you say, he will lose his job. It's that simple.
I think a lot of it is down to Ineos and what they can actually do, and whether or not we manage to shift these players on. Like, everything that we just talked about is going to be the factors that determine what happens to him in the next 6 months, in the next 3 months, in the next year. Like, there isn't that much on him. But one thing that he can control, and again, I'm just throwing this out there, if he does have to play with the majority of this squad, because Ineos just come to him and they're like, look, we tried to get rid of him. We can't. We're going to have to integrate some of these boys back into the squad. If he stays pig-headed and doesn't change his system, that will cost him, right?
Yes.
That's what I think. So do you think, with that in mind, that they come to him and they're like, we'll try again in January. We'll try to get rid of him in January. Would you be happy if he changed his system to accommodate them and we were in top 10, top 6? Or would you feel like that was a show of weakness if he changed his systems just to accommodate players that they will hope to move on later?
I think I would respect him more if he just tells them like, okay, this is not for me, and he just resigns. If the board comes to him and tells him after all this time that, okay, we didn't manage to get the players that fit your system that we promised that we were going to get you, and you have to, I don't know, manage with the players that have been the issue for the longest time. Yeah, I think it's best for his own sake and for his career as a manager, because if he stays, he's not going to succeed. And yeah, like his stocks are going to go so low. People are going to think he's a bad manager, but it's not about that. Like, I still say that about Ten Hag. He's not a bad manager. It's the players. He can't, like, he's going to, in my opinion, he's going to prove now that he's at Leverkusen, for example, that he is a good manager. He proved that at Ajax. And the same goes for Amorim. Like, he should resign, honestly, because, yeah, it's not fair on the manager. And just, the club is a mess. He doesn't have to deal with it. Like, he's not obligated.
Don't be surprised, Ahmad, if that is the case, though, that the club don't do what he wants, because they've done it to all the other managers, haven't they? They've done it to every single one of them. And with you, I didn't even think about him like resigning because they've not given him what he wants. But yeah, he would be basically saving his career by doing that, wouldn't he? Because if he gets sacked by Manchester United, it's always on your CV. If he walks away with his head on high and say, "Well, they didn't do what they promised. I'm off. Like, I'll go and get another job around Europe." You couldn't fault him, could you? Fault him.
The last line that I've got on my notes is literally, with 80% of this squad, it's a mid-table finish at best, and I think he'll walk away in January. That's what I've put. Because
just put on my thing there, Nathan, was I've just put, we have to see improvement in the performances, in the players, in individuals, and in understanding the system. If you don't see forward steps in the next weeks, months, that's when I think he has to go, or the club will move on. If you don't see more, you don't see patterns of play, you don't see improvements, it's just not going to work, is it?
A big thanks to Ahmad. Thanks for making it back again. It's good to see your face. Good to chat Manchester United news, even if it is absolutely dreadful still.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have Mbeumo to talk about
Good to
next
talk
week.
to you guys. Honestly, nice to meet you, Paul. Finally got to
and you too, buddy. You take care.
And thanks again to Paul for coming on. How's the hamstring, mate? You still feel you'd be ready for next week?
I'm old. Just a bit of limbering up needed. Get the tiger oil out. I'll be all right.
But you'll be able to do next week as well, yeah? Yeah, you feel fit enough?
Yeah. Oh, in fact, I'm on holiday next week, so I'll see what the Wi-Fi is like at the hotel. I'll see what it's like.
You coming to Dubai, yeah?
I'll ditch the kids in the all-inclusive, and I'll see if I can get it going.
Where are you going on holiday this time? Honestly, Ahmad, this guy, he's on holiday every 2 weeks.
Honestly.
Bulgaria this next week, sunny beach.
Nice.
So it'd be a little bit better than this grey weather in Manchester that we have to deal with. Not like you two living in the desert, living the dream.
No, honestly, it's not the dream at all.
Yeah, it's not the dream right now. It's 42 degrees outside. It's not the dream at all.
Can't breathe.
Anyway, Thanks very much, guys. And thanks for listening,
Pleasure.
as always. Do sign up to the newsletter that I kept banging on about, which is Fergie's Gum at Substack, I think it is. And also Instagram. We're still on there. Twitter. We're still on. No, not Twitter. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All Fergie's Gum Pod, I think. If not, it'll be there somewhere. Anyway, thanks for that, and speak to you soon.